Why should you choose Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City? Why wouldn't you choose them? At Nolf, their sales are speedy and include upfront and straightforward pricing. If it's service and parts you're after, they have skilled technicians who are factory trained while offering knowledgeable parts experts. Maybe you need Nolf's full service body shop offering top quality collision repair to all makes and models of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Or do you want to cruise the highway in a clean, shiny vehicle thanks to Nolf's detailing service? No matter your needs, Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City is there for you. Find out more at NolfChryslerDodge.com. We're here on another edition of Nolf Bites at Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Fairmont City, Pennsylvania. I'm Chris Rossetti. He's Ronnie Geist. Yeah, we're missing our third wheel here, Andy Byers. He's in court all day.
Yeah, allegedly. It's hard to tell where he really is, but.
No, he didn't need a lawyer, did he?
Well, I hope his wife bought him a good one if she did.
No, he had jury duty today, folks.
The speeding tickets caught up to
him.
Yeah,
all those speeding tickets on the way back from Port Allegany in ways that nobody drives back from Port Allegany finally became too much for him. He got pulled over in front of the high school last night. He could have always hired Merwin and Aaron and Merwin.
That's who I'm going with, 100%.
Yeah, Chris Merwin. We'll hook you up. He'll handle that. Or if not him, then we'll get Mike Jewett from Zunder and Associates. Those are my two go-to lawyer groups.
I'm definitely Mark Aaron's where I'm going. He just grew up I grew up right below his mom and dad.
Did you play with Merwin, or was he?
Yeah, Merwin was my quarterback until I was a junior.
And he was like, "Man, you didn't run the ball enough for me, Ronnie. I'm not not representing you."
That dude stole more touchdowns from me than I had. He would wait. He would walk up to the line of scrimmage, and back in the day, if we wanted to run wedge, our call was white, and we'd call the play in the huddle, and he'd walk up to the line of scrimmage, and he'd peek around the corner and start smiling. He'd scream, "White, white, white, white," and you don't know how many times I wanted to jump off sides, but he'd steal them. Guess that's my fault for not putting him in earlier.
So then I just call red. I don't know what red call was. I'm just going to call red. Red, Omaha, red.
No, No, we didn't have red.
Didn't have red, but you had white.
White wedge.
I had red. Like you guys were white and red. Why didn't you have red?
Red was in our cadence. Red 18.
Red 18. What was 18?
The number that stuck with like 30 quarterbacks. I guess it's easy to say.
18. What's 18? Well, I don't know. 18 is just making it sound like we're smart.
Yeah.
Going to lift my leg. I'm going to clap my hands, and then I'm a quarterback.
Let's do it.
That's all it is.
Let's do it.
See, Braylon Wagner, he sets a school record, but I mean, what's he really doing? It's just red 18.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, come on. How hard could it be? Congratulations to Braylon.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Broke Jake Doherty's record, and I think Jake was at a wedding last weekend. Maybe he wasn't able to be there, but still pretty cool. Be his basketball coach. I think Braylon's going to play basketball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, be his basketball coach. Got a lot of passing yards on that basketball team on that bench.
And Jake's
granted, it's football, but
Jake's one of the best dudes there is.
He really is.
He's an awesome guy.
He's a great guy. I've known him since he was in high school, and really happy that he's getting an opportunity to take over the basketball program at Red Bank Valley. And congratulations to Braylon Wagner on setting that record. And he's setting that record. Jace Ferguson's closing in on the district record for touchdown passes. What do records mean? Like, is it a big deal to these kids?
I think it's a huge deal to the kids. I think they love it. As adults, we kind of realize that it comes and goes. They're there to be broken. There's going to be someone someday that breaks, all of Braylon's records. And it'll mean something to that kid. And I'm sure it'll mean something to Braylon. It kind of stinks that my record was gone. I think it's a good thing. I think it's cool that the kids get all the recognition. It doesn't matter just from Red Bank. Like, if you're a kid from Union and you do something awesome, like, I think you deserve it. Those kids put a lot of hard work in, a lot of dedication.
No question. And, I think one of the cool things was I saw a photo on Facebook. I think it was Braylon's dad, Tom, when Braylon was a little kid, and Jake Doherty was the quarterback at Red Bank, and it said something to the effect of Braylon said he was going to break all of Jake's records when he was like 6 or 7. So, that's the really cool stuff. I think that's the stuff that makes it. Now, records, as you mentioned, are made to be broken. I think the one thing we sometimes overemphasize in records is that somehow or other that makes a certain player the best to ever play
Correct.
the position.
100%.
And I look at that in the quarterbacks, and you take a look down the District 9 passing list, and guys like Jim Kelly, Chad Carell, who went to Penn State, are way down that list because the game was different. And and so they didn't put up the gaudy numbers. But anytime anybody, is there really any argument on who the best quarterback to ever come out of District 9 is?
I would hope not. There shouldn't be any discussion.
like I always, like, every time somebody wants to discuss it with me, I look at them, I'm like, call me when the next one makes the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't even know how that's in the discussion. Like Jim Kelly would be the best quarterback today.
I said that. Like I saw him, but not this past summer, but last summer up at his camp, and I saw him get out of his golf cart. I'm sitting there with Dave Kirschbaumer in another golf cart, acting like I was important when I really wasn't. But sometimes you act like you're important.
Yeah. And I do it here every day.
Yeah, and watching him throw passes, and I'm like, my God, like the dude's 60, and they were the best passes I'd ever seen.
Yeah, people don't have it. They don't understand, and it's not their fault. I mean, you only know what you know, and you don't know it without someone changing that. But Jim Kelly would absolutely dominate, and that doesn't take anything.
No, not at all. It's just there's a when you go to the University of Miami in Florida, and then you go to the USFL when the USFL was a real league. And then you go and you're playing for the Buffalo Bills and you're playing the Super Bowl. That's a whole different level, man.
I've said this for years. Like, I played not from 99 to 03. I mean, I've been coaching on and off since then. Like, a true, legitimate Division I athlete, as far as football goes, in our conference, just walks on the field and is
the best player, hands down.
Yeah.
Single-handedly changes the game. Look, Jace Ferguson's not a Division I athlete. Jace Ferguson's probably a Division II athlete, very high-level Division III athlete. He changes the game by himself. Correct. Because of that, right? Like, Braylon Wagner is not a Division II athlete. Braylon's probably a Division III athlete, but he changes the game by himself.
Oh,
same with Aiden Bliss. These guys, none of these guys are going, and none of them are playing on a Sunday at any point in time.
No,
but they single-handedly can change the game.
Yeah.
And so just imagine what happens when you get a guy that's that next level. Like, I think about basketball, okay? And Nate Sestina played at Cameron County, okay? And they ended up losing to CL in a district championship game, but Nate Sestina was like above the rim and, slamming it. And then he goes on and he has a great career at Bucknell. And then all of a sudden he's at Kentucky because of the transfer portal. Yeah. And, now he was playing he had a cup of coffee in the G League. I mean, that's a whole different type of athlete, like that's an athlete like that takes a school like Cameron County and they go from just being Cameron County to being like legitimate contender for a district title in District 9, when that doesn't happen very often at Cameron County because Nate Sestina was that good of an athlete. He can, change those things by himself. And that's what a Division I athlete can do. They can change, that's what getting any great athlete can change your fortunes. Port Allegheny wasn't anything fantastic in football. And then they got Matt Bodemer and Nick Conway and a couple other kids. And all of a sudden they're playing Clareton and Tyler Boyd for a right to go to a state championship game. And then what happens there? Tyler Boyd's an NFL player, and he changes the course of the game because he's the best player on the field. And, what's the difference between high school and college? Well, everybody in even a Division III college program was probably the best player on their high school team or one of the best players in their high school conference or whatever. Everybody at Division I was probably the best player unless they were on some super team on their team. And then what's the difference between the NFL and college football? Everybody in the NFL was like basically an All-American in college.
They came from another planet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you talked about a story with me a few weeks ago after we got off the air about your time at Cal and Cal got a running back and, you said something like he took a handoff and then I'll let you take the rest of that.
Yeah. Long story short, we ran with like two backs in the backfield, and I was slow, so I was the fullback. And we break the huddle, and he says, "Don't touch the outside back, or go get the safety." And in college, you don't just decide you're going to go get a safety. And I said, "They'll kill me. Just do it." All right. I come out around the edge. I put a hand on the outside backer. I run to the safety. Me and the safety collide. I remember turning around and looking over my shoulder, and I see the cornerback step up. He breaks down to make a play. Dude just jabs, gives him a little shake, jumps over top of him, and runs down the sidelines. And I was like, cool. I'm like third string the rest of my life. Like that guy's not human. Like that doesn't happen. But you know, we had a players meeting at Cal, and the older players brought us all in. And you know, you were saying about all state and all that. The one guy says, if you were team captain, raise your hand. Right? Everyone puts their hand up. You were all district, all county, put your hand. Everyone's hands up. All state, same thing. Right? He goes through the whole thing, and what he was saying was, we're all really, really good here. And the guys that are going to excel are going to be great athletes. Plus they're going to work hard.
Yep.
You know, like that was the big change from, you know, from a high school kid to a college kid. There's that huge culture shock of, I'm no longer that guy. And a lot of kids, myself included, that's hard to comprehend. Like when you roll your ankle, no one cares that you got another rep. Like you got to get up and go. So it's hard for college level kids to comprehend, or high school level kids to comprehend that.
And I think it's even harder around here.
It is, because you're so short on numbers. There's not true. I mean, there's true competition at some point, but you know, like Braylon Wagner throws 6 interceptions next week. We're not picking the next guy.
Yeah, there's not Jackson Huffman's not the next guy.
Right.
I mean, no offense to Jackson Huffman. He's not the next guy. Like he's not Braylon Wagner at the end of the day.
No.
And you know, it's Central Clarion. Hayden Hindman's not Jace Ferguson. Like Jace Ferguson's got rope there. That you know, at the next level you don't have rope. And like I look at a kid like Christian Coudray at St. Mary's put up like funny numbers at St. Mary's a few years back, and you know he's been kind of pushed into the starting quarterback role at Allegheny and threw for 40 yards. And 3 interceptions on Saturday. I mean, it's just that's what the difference is between even Division III and the President's Athletic Conference and District 9 Region 1.
It's all about game speed. It changes so much. You know, we bring the Pee Wee Midget MVPs on the sidelines, and a lot of that's just getting them around and seeing that the huge change. You know, when you go to college, that the window, I kind of joke with my D-backs, you know, in high school, if you get within 3 yards of a wide receiver, he's covered. That's all we got to get. We got to get inside of 3 yards. In college, it's inside of a yard. In the pros, I could be dragging them down and it's still not good enough coverage.
Well, you think about, I don't know if you watched the Sunday night game 2 weeks ago and the game-winning touchdown that the Cowboys scored against the Steelers. And, you know, I mean, defensive back was all over the guy. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I saw a play last night in the Sunday night game where Chase was completely covered, and you know, and it looked like Burrows was in trouble, and he steps up in the pocket and kind of jukes around and then throws one, and then the last second separation by Jamar Chase was just incredible. Like, you know, like I don't like the Bengals, I don't like Chase, but man, you can see the greatness there, right? Like you're not seeing that play on Friday nights.
Yeah.
You're not really even seeing that play on Saturdays. Speaking of Saturdays, did you happen to catch the play Penn State ran on Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What an innovative the guy who snaps the ball catches the touchdown. You know, you guys run that swinging gate a lot. Mm-hmm. Maybe you guys pull that out against Central Clarion this week.
We're gonna have to pull something out.
But what an innovative play call that was. You know, and what a game Tyler Warren had on Saturday for Penn State. 17 catches.
Yeah.
I mean,
he play like 5 different positions.
Yeah, well, I mean, you count him snapping the ball as the center on that, like center, quarterback, running, just incredible stuff.
Now that was a different kicker. He
hit
it.
Yeah.
Were you happy?
Well, yeah, they changed kickers after I complained. It was all me.
Yeah.
changed it all for me.
I figured they heard you.
Yeah, they heard me. And
They
like
listen.
in like 175,000 other people that said the same thing.
I think Franklin just listens to her.
I really want to know what the other kicker has in practice, because that's 2 years in a row the guy has won a quote unquote tough, close battle in practice, and then it stunk, just outright stunk when the bright lights came on. You know, hey, that happens. We've all seen that with guys. You see that all the time. There's guys that are terrible in practice, and then the lights come on, and you're like, was this the same guy that I watched all week, right?
Yeah.
And then there's guys that you think are Tarzan all week, and they turn into Jane on Friday nights. And it just, sometimes those bright lights affect people in different ways.
And if you figure out how to fix that, you'd be the richest man in the world.
No question. No question. Hey, we're going to step aside here real quick. Thanks some of our sponsors. We'll be right back here on Nolf Lights. Why should you choose Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City? Why wouldn't you choose them? At Nolf, their sales are speedy and include upfront and straightforward pricing. If it's service and parts you're after, they have skilled technicians who are factory trained while offering knowledgeable parts experts. Maybe you need Nolf's full service body shop offering top quality collision repair to all makes and models of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Or do you want to cruise the highway in a clean, shiny vehicle thanks to Nolf's detailing service? No matter your needs, Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City is there for you. Find out more at nolfchryslerdodge.com. When it's your special day, we know you want everything to be just perfect. That's why at the Allegheny Grill in Foxburg, we spared no expense in creating our new indoor-outdoor wood-framed event center with waterfalls, gorgeous views of the Allegheny River, a fire pit, and plenty of parking. The Allegheny Grill in Foxburg will take care of everything from catering to bartending, so all you have to do is bring the fun. We do it all for your wedding, anniversary party, corporate event, and so much more. One look at our new facility and we know you'll fall in love. And remember, the view is always free at the Allegheny Grill in Foxburg, PA. Back here at Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Fairmont City. Anything going on, Ronnie? I know you were looking up to see if you guys had any specials going on.
Yeah, right now I had to write it down though. There's so many. So many. Right now we have 0% on Wagoneers for up to 36 months and 3.9% for 72 months on Wagoneers, which if anyone's got a loan recently, you know how terrible rates are. So that definitely helps. We got half-ton Rams with $5,500 in rebates, some Grand Cherokees with $5,500 in rebates. As Andy says, all the deals are good, but just come down here and you can find them all.
You can also find them online.
Yeah, you can find them online.
What's that?
www.nolfchryslerdodge.com.
I love how you always give us the www. Like
I don't want people to get.
We didn't know that. We didn't know it started with www.
Well, what if people don't? Maybe my older people.
Well, my guess is if they didn't, then they wouldn't be able to watch this.
It's fair.
Just kidding you, Ronnie. Speaking, we were talking there before the break about, the different levels of football and, from and how it changes. It even changes in the high school game. And it makes me, I guess I still have the pause on, like, everybody asked me, how good is Central Clarion? And obviously so far they've mercy rolled everybody they've played. And I just, like, everybody's like, well, District 10 Farrell looks like it's down. Farrell's 4-4, but man, those are 4 of the best losses you could have if there's such a thing.
Yeah.
That's a different level. They're playing a different, like if you compare Farrell's schedule to Central Clarion's schedule, Farrell would be doing the same thing Central Clarion is doing. And so I think if both of those teams get out of their respective districts and meet in I think that's the third week of November, about a month from now. If they meet, don't think that this is going to be some pushover for Central Clarion or that Farrell is some team that has no chance. First of all, the pride factor at a place like Farrell.
Sure.
They expect to be there. They expect to win that game.
Would that be at a District 10 site,
Trying to think. I think well, you know what? We're in a new classification cycle. No, I don't think. Not that big of a deal where it would be at. But not that it really matters. It's going to be on turf. I mean, that much we know. They're going to play all those type of games on turf, and playoffs are starting in a couple weeks. I can't believe we're already there. Can you?
I can. Feels like as I get older, it wears on me quicker. But
I guess if I look outside and I see the orange and red leaves and the 47 degrees temperature, I guess that should be enough to tell me it's time for playoffs.
That's good football. Good football in that weather. You know, you were talking like as you get deeper into the playoff run, which Clarion's clearly going to do, a lot of times it's about matchups. You know, where's their athletes versus our athletes? How can we limit their big plays versus our big plays? But the thing that people don't think about, you know, we might only play Clarion one time, but I have tape on Clarion because of you guys broadcasting it. You know, I get to see all of that stuff. And if you are a coach that, you know, in Eggleton's situation where, you know, like, all right, I've got a pretty good shot at, you know, kind of getting through. Maybe if I get to a District 10 team, you know, I'm sure he's already looking at some of that film. But what I'm getting at is, you know, it's kind of nice that you kind of play a team one time. You know, they can see that Jace Ferguson's great, but maybe they don't see that Rex is great too, because the film they have, Rex has a bad night, he drops 3 ball, whatever, right? So there's a lot of things that you can hide in plain sight at times. You know, when we made our runs, there were times where I felt confident because there was things that we ran week 2 that we haven't run. We practiced, but we haven't run it. So, you know, those definitely play big factors in a lot of things.
I think the other thing is that sometimes speed is deceptive on film.
Oh yeah.
You know, you think a guy's fast, or you think that maybe you have a guy that can keep up with him or whatever, and then you see him in real life. If you're in that position, and I know you guys were, and I know it's tough, but some of this, like, would you rather like have just film, or would you rather have like a live scout on a team?
It's all up to perception, because if I have live scout of, let's just say I'm playing Farrell and Farrell's playing I drive out and they're playing a 4-10 team, or, you know, some team that doesn't, if I could pick, I would say, okay,
that's a really good 4-10 team, by the way, Roddy. You get to week 14 as 4-10. Holy cow. That's a great team.
I would want to see someone that runs something similar to what I run, so that I can have an understanding of what are they going to do in this circumstance? How are they going to attack when I put my defensive end in a 5 tech? Or if I have a nose here that shoots a gap, what are they going to do? What's their quick adjustments? And obviously the speed kills everything. You know, my kids play soccer down here, which they have a great program down here. And I preach to them at 5 and 8, speed kills. We're going to attack everything. We're going to run as fast as we can in everything we do. That doesn't mean you're going to be the fastest, but speed kills everything. So to see that in real life obviously helps. But I mean, I can see on film that someone like Jace Ferguson's fast, and he does things naturally with his hips. You know, he's not the only one. Like, I'm not discrediting anybody. I'm just saying, like, certain things stand out. How you can relate that to your kids is the hard part.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think there's benefits to both, and I think having both is the way I would want to have it. I wouldn't want to have.
You know what's harder, in my opinion? Power. You know, you can see a team fire off the ball, but until the kids can actually feel it, that's where it changes. There was multiple times in our run where I saw a team on film and I thought, they're going to blow us off the ball here. We can't. How are we going to? All right, if this doesn't work, what are we going to do to change this? Because they're going to blow us off the ball. And then in reality, when you see it, it's like, okay, they're not quite where we thought they were. That for me at times is harder to pick up on film.
Yeah, and because film doesn't necessarily give you the ability to see how physical somebody might be, or you know, and let's be honest, none of the film that you're watching at the high school level is like what you watch at the pro level. You're getting any all 22 film, and you know, sometimes you're lucky you can see the number on the kid.
Yeah, we don't even have an end zone cam, so everything we take shot from a camera up high. So it's really tough. That makes it even harder.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Single way, and I guess, you know, I don't want to put this on you, Ronnie, because I mean, obviously you guys still have at Red Bank hopes of a rematch with Port and winning against them, but man, they after a couple of weeks there where you were like, yeah, maybe they're but maybe it was just like sort of mid-season lull with them because they've come out the last couple of weeks and just fire. I mean, they took a St. Mary's team behind the woodshed, and then St. Mary's beat Stu Boys last week. And then they took Kane, who's been playing, I thought, exceptionally well, and just took them behind the woodshed. And it's really interesting because they're doing it with a running game, and I mean it doesn't change. I had somebody, I think there's a little bit of feeling in the community up there about whether Nick Wilfong or Braden Gilhart should be the quarterback, and I don't know. To me, does it really matter who their quarterback is? Like, I said something to head coach Justin Minkowski last night. I was like, my question about the quarterbacks are these: A, can he take a snap? B, can he turn and hand the ball to Aiden Bliss? C, can he turn and hand the ball to Aiden Bliss? I mean, that's really, again, I'm not trying to diminish what they're doing with their quarterback, but that team isn't about their quarterback. That team's about who's running the football and who's blocking the ball up front. And, why are they so good? They're so good. And you know this because their offensive line is really good for Class Single A.
So from a coaching perspective, they've blown out everyone they've played.
Except for Ridgeway.
Brockway played them close, right, for half. Regardless of what they're doing, how's there a yeah but to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, as a coach, I'm thinking we're firing off the ball. We're doing everything that we do, and we're doing it better than anybody else. No one can stop it. But I get a yeah, but this guy should be here. Yeah, but this guy should be there. At the end of the day, they're kids. Like, if this guy gets 10 snaps and that guy gets 10 snaps, in my mind, it's when you get those 10 snaps, it's at 100% no matter what. Every rep you get is the best rep. And let the chips fall where they do. I just think sometimes we get too wrapped up in it. And
I absolutely, I mean, look, we're talking about an 8-0 football team.
That's
right?
What I'm saying.
You're talking about an 8-0 football team. It's the record that matters. It's great if Jace Ferguson's probably going to set the district record for touchdown passes. If they lose in the first round of the state playoffs, I mean, still a great career, but a great career that doesn't include any state playoff wins. I think he would try. I'm just guessing here that at the end of the day, Jace Ferguson would trade all those records that he may set, right, for an opportunity to play for a state title this year.
I would agree. I think he's I've never spoke to him. He seems like a great kid, but just from watching him on film, you can't play the way he plays and be selfish. He's not a selfish kid. You can tell that. You don't put your body in the spots that he does. You don't do the things that he does. So I agree 100%.
I would want every single one of my players to be like, man, the records are great. We talked about records earlier. The records are great. It's a nice accomplishment. It's a nice individual honor. In a lot of ways, it's a team honor, like for Braylon Wagner to hold the receiving record. He doesn't hold that without the Drew Byerses and the Mason Klauses and the Ashton Kales of the world, right? Like, so all those guys have a little bit of pride that goes with it. Doesn't do that without the guys blocking in front, because if he doesn't have any time to throw the ball, then he's not throwing for any records. But at the end of the day, I'm going to guess that Braylon Wagner would much rather win a state championship than set all those records.
That's why we play the game. At the end of the day, you play the game to win the last game. Other than that, there's no reason to play.
One of my favorite sayings, probably because I got football teams that don't always win pretty, specifically the Pittsburgh Steelers. My saying is, they don't ask you how, they just ask you how many at the end of the day, right? Like it can be ugly. It can look like, your quarterback throws for 100 yards a game, like the Steelers guys doing, but TJ Watt's a freaking beast and a half, and he punches out 2 balls, including one at the goal line. And at the end of the day, I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty.
Speaking of the punch out, when does that get banned? Sooner. I don't see the NFL allowing that to last forever.
man, got to get the defense something.
I don't
you?
disagree, but it's
I
an
mean,
offensive
I
league.
mean, my goodness, everything's geared to the offense.
I just feel like there's going to be a time where they're like,
I mean, if they're going to let you have the tush push, then you gotta come on. And now you're starting to see the tush push make its way into high school football, which is
you're not allowed to.
I know, but you're seeing it happening. You're not seeing it being called.
I think we've had it called one time on us. You know, I don't know. Tush push. That's a terrible name.
What do you want to call it?
I don't know.
Well, see, until you come up with a better name, it's going to be the tush push.
All right.
That's the way it goes, Ryan. Come on, man. Come on. I don't know. It was an interesting, like how surprised were you that DuBois lost?
I was really surprised. When I watched the film of them in the Carson City game a few weeks ago, I mean, I'll tell you what, I love that quarterback, man.
He's nice. Trey Wingard.
He looks like he was like maddened for a high school quarterback. Like they built him in a laboratory. Like he just looks like the perfect high school quarterback. And he got athletes around him too. Yeah, that was a shocker to me.
Boy, going into last week, you're thinking, "Oh, this team could go 9-1," but then it really looks like they're going to set up by playing Cathedral Prep. Like that's going to be their reward for going 8-2. Yeah, it's a tough matchup.
Yes,
they haven't won a playoff game in like 30 years because they're 5A, or they're 4, or they were 4A or whatever, and so you're always matching up against the Cathedral Preps or the McDowells or the state colleges of the world, and like that's we're talking about different brands of football, right? And that is so much harder than matching up against Reynolds or Cambridge Springs at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, the argument obviously is they have a lot more kids. So, I get it. But, yeah, you're talking a different monster.
Well, and I mean, Cathedral Prep is playing an interstate schedule. I mean, I don't know if you've ever looked at Cathedral Prep's schedule, but like half their games are against teams from Ohio and New York.
Got to go get them, I guess.
Well, yeah, because nobody wants to play them.
So here's a question. You're playing that team, your DuBois. Do you play on your heels or do you attack?
You've got to attack. Like, I think if you play on your heels, you're just asking for trouble. You're playing a team that's got probably superior athletes, and I don't know, I'm attacking. And then again, I'd attack all the time anyhow. There's not a point in time where I wouldn't attack. I'm a big believer in attack defenses.
Yeah.
Probably what drives me nuts about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers is they don't attack anymore. They sit back and they just, I mean, look, it's working. I get it, but man, it just drives me nuts. The blitzes are just completely gone from that defense.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe their assumption is, get TJ on an island. Maybe he can one-on-one somebody, and now you get to drop the guy instead of bringing the extra guy.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's better to make the quarterback have to think.
Well, I don't disagree.
I'd rather the quarterback have to think. That's all. That's and the better the quarterback, the more I want him to have to think, and the more I want to hit him. Even if I get a flag every now and then, I'll get that flag because I want to. Maybe early in the game, I don't necessarily mind the late hit. You know why? Because first of all, most of these aren't even late hits anymore. They're just hits.
They're just hard.
They're just. But you hit a quarterback a couple times. Now he's thinking.
You definitely have to play to the edge. It's just a matter of where that edge is. And you can.
I thought Carson City's done that over the years.
Always
to a
always.
Key. They intimidate teams.
I can remember going down there when I coached junior high football. We get off the bus, and kids were literally scared to get off the bus. I'm like, I walk in the locker room. What's going on? And they're like, ghosts. Well, we were told Carson City was going to beat us. Okay, well, they're definitely going to beat you acting like that. There's no doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to pound on you if you walk in timid.
We heard that they play dirty. If you believe they play dirty, then they're going to play dirty, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way it goes. Like, match their dirtiness, their quote unquote dirtiness, with your own dirtiness to some, because again, they play to that edge. Sometimes they go over the edge. Sometimes they get a flag for going over the edge. But you know what happens when they get that flag for going over the edge? your running back's thinking, I don't really want to go there again because I might get hit like that again, right? And you didn't like, it takes a special kind of kid that likes to get hit.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about college. Like, you have to get there and realize that it's okay to fight a little bit. You have to get pushed to the edge and realize, like, there is something after that. I get pushed down, and you have to get up and literally fight. Like, you have to fight back. And I don't know that you can teach that.
I got a timeout, Ronnie.
I'm getting old.
Yeah, I cramped up.
Get some pickle juice.
Yeah, cramped up in the middle of the show, just sitting here too long. Athletic trainer. I need the athletic trainer.
We don't have one.
Oh, dang it. That's right. At Red Bank, you don't have one.
Nah, don't need them.
You guys are tough.
Just getting tough.
You're too tough for athletic trainers.
The budget's too tough for athletic trainers.
More like the market for athletic trainers is
That's
tough.
true.
You can't find one.
That is true.
Can't find one.
We were so lucky for years. We had Dave Snowberger here.
I was trying to sell his wife Angie on coming because Dave's up at the university now. Their kids are all graduated from Norwin. I'm like, Angie, come on back up.
Poor Dave. His whole life, he was the second best trainer in his house. I mean, for real. That's terrible.
I actually saw Angie. Not this past Saturday, the Saturday before. They were up, her and her oldest daughter, Danny, and Danny's daughter, I think it was daughter, and maybe it was son. Now I'm going to screw that all up. And Danny's husband, and they were up at homecoming because Dave's up here as the athletic trainer at the university now. And so I spent some time actually talking to Angie and Danny. And Danny was like knee high, like when I first met her back in 1998, following her mom around at Keystone. When Angie, that was before they were married. That Danny's stepdad is Dave, and then Dave was down here at Red Bank, and that's how those guys they met, because they were both working for the Champ program, which was offering the and still does the athletic training. And what a great family they are, by the way.
Oh, they're the best. So in high school, I messed my shoulder up, and I had to go to physical therapy. And instead of going to physical therapy, outpatient, trainer Dave did my physical therapy. That was the worst thing I could have ever done. He's bending my arm, and I'm like, all right, that's good. Now you got a little bit more. You got a little bit more. I think I know he liked it. He'd make fun of me about it. He was brutal.
Yeah, no. What great people they are, and they ended up at my alma mater, Norwin High School. Like I always laughed when they went to Norwin. I'm like, you guys went, I came here, and you guys went down there. Like. But such great people. Their daughter Bailey's playing softball up at Maine.
Yeah, she took that from her mom too. Definitely not her dad, I can tell you.
If I'm not mistaken, both are proud. Well, I know Angie's a proud IUP grad. Angie and I are both proud IUP grads.
Dave, I did know where Dave went. Gettysburg, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong there, Dave.
No, Dave is related to Aiden Snowberger.
I see some things on social media.
So Aiden's dad, Evan, and Dave, I think, are cousins.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there's an actual. Yeah, I bet you didn't even realize that at the end of the day. Yeah, it's actually pretty neat. I don't even know how we got on. Oh, I know how we got on this. I had the cramp in the middle of the show. People can go make fun of me at some point. I got this gut going, and now I'm cramping up in the middle of the show. And it's been a long day. I subbed today.
You had to work.
Yeah, I had to work.
Can't believe your wife makes you go to work.
He doesn't make me.
If you're gonna, no sense being a trophy husband if you're gotta go out.
I know. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Like, it's like Coach Al said. We're so used to playing in the sandbox of the real world. Like, we do sports for. I always tease him. I'm like, dude, you're a coach. You've never held a real job in your life. And he gets all mad. I'm like, he's like, well, yeah, but you, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm like, mine was a little bit more real than, showing up in gym shorts 365 days out of the year, and showing up at like 3:00 in the afternoon and working until like 6:00 in the afternoon. I'm just teasing him, but Coach Al's a great dude. I mean, everybody sees him. Got him doing the on-field interviews, the Arby's pregame. We had him do the Arby's pregame. We got Ronnie in on that. Ronnie got to be on there, as did all those little junior midget kids. the MVPs. That was pretty cool. That was Ronnie's call, folks, to do that, and I appreciate that. That was a good idea. It wasn't planned out. It was just sort of spur of the moment, and it worked out well. And Al, of course, just like, man, think that Ronnie and I talk. We should bring Al down here one day.
We should
bring him down. Tell him to come down and join us. He tried calling me when I get out in the car, and I didn't take the call because we'd still be talking. And he'd probably telling me how great Justin Fields is, and I'd be telling him how I want Russell Wilson. Boy,
really?
Yeah.
Why?
Justin Fields can't throw. He has no idea where the ball's going.
Yeah.
And just can't read a defense. Save his life.
I haven't watched that close. This last game was the only game I really sat down and had time to watch. But
runs the ball great. Maybe their best running back. They should line him up at running back.
Him and Najee, two back.
Yeah, we can try that. I was happy that Najee had a great week because I had him on my fantasy football team. I was out of running backs. I had no choice but to start Najee Harris this week. I was playing Andy Close this week, one of my business partners in the YDL Sports Network. I texted him or something, man, week I start Najee, he has maybe the best week he's ever had in fantasy football. Now, I'm still hanging on by a thread. I need to make sure that the kicker for the Bills tonight, Tyler Bass, I think I'm up 14 points. You better not have a Josh Allen, just score a bunch of touchdowns tonight. Like, I mean, I get it. It's just for fun, but man, I want to win. I got that competitive streak in me. I want to win.
You guys don't have any money on it?
No, it started out as a family league, and then we needed to add a couple people, so I added Andy, and he's like family, so what the heck?
Yeah.
My dad sometimes lets the computer draft. Sometimes he drafts. I think it's actually better when he lets the computer draft. It's unbelievable. He's won more than I have in it.
Yeah.
My dad has. Yeah.
We do a fantasy baseball. Some guys in town here, Judge Miller, Zelmo. Everyone knows Zelmo. Jason Kundick. There's quite a few of us that do it, and I'm proud to say that finally brought home the championship. Yeah.
Who's your best player?
Tawny.
What'd you do? Get the draft first?
No, I drafted 7.
Oh, get out of here. He lasted till 7?
They were afraid.
Get out of here.
He
lasted till 7?
Well, yeah, he was betting on games, so they thought he was going to get Pete Rose. And I said, he's the best player in the league. They're not Pete Rose and him.
You drafted Ohtani 7.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane.
That's not fantasy knowledge.
That's not even fantasy knowledge. That's just the rest of that league is just morons. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Who had the first pick?
I don't remember. But Kundick. They took Acuna. Yeah, good.
How did that work out?
Well, he's a self-proclaimed legend. That's his name, Lafayette Street Legends. I mean, it's like anything. If you do it long enough, sooner or later you'll win. And he's been doing it like 35 years. He's got a couple wins under his belt.
Yeah. I got another one. Like we have like a dynasty league. That's a lot of fun, actually. Like you keep your play, you keep your team year in and year out. It's not just a keeper league. It's a dynasty league. So like the only way you lose a guy is if you cut him. And you have a draft every April after the NFL draft. You draft among the rookies. You get 3 rounds and you draft. This year I hit one. I took Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
that's worked out. He might be my quarterback for the next 15 years if I play that league for that long. But we have a taxi squad, like a practice squad. He started the season on the practice squad. Well, 2 weeks ago he got taken off the practice squad.
So you only lose a guy if you cut him.
Yep, you only lose a guy if you cut him or trade him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's neat because it takes a little, like, do you play the long game? Do you, and like I've done that with my wide receivers. Like I've drafted a bunch of wideouts the last couple of years. Like I have Jaden Reed and George Pickens and a couple of other younger guys. And then, I mix it in with some older guys. Like I've got DJ Metcalf and I've got Saquon Barkley. I took over a team from a guy, so I didn't draft it originally.
Yeah.
I had Kyler Murray. I still have him. I picked up Jared Goff, who was my starting quarterback last year, but thinking about maybe dropping him now because I have Murray and Daniels, and we only play one quarterback in that league. So
we do our draft. We do a hitter's draft and a pitcher's draft. It's 2 separate, and we do it. You walk off and write your name on the board. It makes it so much fun. I'll be honest, they pick guys, and I'm like, where's that guy play? I've never heard of that.
Little bit of beer going on in those. Pizza, wings.
Can't confirm or deny those allegations.
What about pizza and wings?
Yeah, they're usually cookies.
Who makes the cookies?
Reese Myers.
I thought maybe your wife was making them.
She makes good cookies. Obviously.
Well, then we should have cookies here before the season's over.
I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up in discussion.
Don't blame me for it. On that note, that's going to do it for us here on Nolf Bites. We got way off topic at the end. But hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to get off topic somewhere. So until next week, and maybe by then Andy will be out of jail.
Or his bail will be posted.
Yeah, one of the two.
If not, he needs to call Merwin and Aaron Associates.
You think his wife would bail him out?
Oh, that's a good one. That might be we need to put a poll up.
Anyhow, that'll do it for us here at Nolf Bites from Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City. For Ronnie Geis, I'm Chris Rossetti saying good night.